Hey everyone. In a moment that many in the faith community never thought would come, Bishop Paul Morton has finally broken his silence on the controversial Apostle David E. Taylor, and what he had to say has left the religious world shaken. Because while the name David E. Taylor has been associated with grand promises of prophetic visions, lavish lifestyles, and what he claims to be direct encounters with God, it has also been entangled in scandal after scandal, with allegations of fraud, cult-like behavior, financial manipulation, and abuse of power following him for years, and until now, most senior leaders have chosen to remain silent or distance themselves quietly. But Bishop Paul Morton, one of the most respected figures in modern gospel and church leadership, could no longer remain quiet as more evidence of Taylor's empire crumbling has come to light, especially after his recent arrest and mounting legal troubles that seem to confirm what critics had been saying all along. And Morton's words were not laced with sensationalism or bitterness, but carried the weight of a spiritual father speaking from decades of experience, cautioning the church and the world to be discerning, to not fall for charismatic personalities who promise miracles but deliver chaos, because Morton explained that the church cannot afford to sit silently while wolves hide in sheep's clothing, preying on the innocent. And he admitted that while it pained him to speak publicly about another preacher, the damage being done by Taylor's ministry demanded truth, accountability, and boldness, as too many lives had already been devastated, too many families divided, and too many people walked away from faith because of disillusionment created by one man's unchecked behavior. And Morton painted a sobering picture of how dangerous it can be when a single leader positions himself above correction, refusing to submit to any counsel or accountability, and builds a cult of personality where devotion to him becomes greater than devotion to Christ. And he recounted stories from members who had come to him in tears, sharing how they were manipulated, how their money was drained in the name of sowing seeds into a so-called kingdom vision, and how promises of healing and prosperity never materialized, leaving them broken and abandoned. And as Morton spoke, it was clear this wasn't just about Taylor, but about the systemic issue of celebrity preachers who thrive in secrecy, who surround themselves with yes-men, and who create fear so that no one dares to question them. And in calling out Taylor, Morton sent a message to the larger body of Christ that it's time for leaders to stop protecting corruption and start protecting people, reminding his audience that real ministry is not about building personal kingdoms, but about shepherding souls, serving with humility, and living transparently before God and man. And though some supporters of Taylor immediately lashed back, accusing Morton of tearing down another minister, many more applauded his courage, grateful that a leader of his stature would risk backlash to say what needed to be said. And this silence-breaking moment has now become a rallying cry, with countless believers taking to social media to echo Morton's call for accountability, for healing, and for an end to the exploitation that has plagued the church for too long. And whether one agrees with him or not, Bishop Paul Morton's stand makes one thing clear: the days of ignoring the elephant in the sanctuary are over, and the exposure of David E. Taylor may very well serve as a warning to others who believe that charisma and showmanship can cover a corrupt heart, because as Morton reminded us, God will not be mocked. Truth always rises, and the church must rise with it, no matter how uncomfortable the confrontation may be. Thanks for watching.